warm welcome to Bharata First. I'm Rausan Pereira. This is FRP Explains. Uniform Civil Code. It's a debate that has been going on for over a century. It's a colonial legacy that has been left behind that continues to date. The former Chief Justice of India a few weeks ago raised the issue and spoke in particular about Goa's civil code and how, if Goa can have a civil code, why not the rest of the country? The Supreme Court over the years in several of its judgments has tried to nudge the government towards formalizing or formulating a law that brings about uniform civil code, but unfortunately that hasn't happened. The political class has not gone through with the decision over the years and has not developed a spine to go through with it. In 2014, it was on the BJP's manifesto. The BJP promised to bring in UCC when it came to power. It has been 7 years now, but it still remains a dream. There is no consensus within the BJP itself as far as the Uniform Civil Code is concerned. Let's now take a look at a few articles that pertain to this particular issue. Starting first with Article 15.1. It very clearly categorizes and states that there shall be no discrimination against any citizen of India on the grounds of religion, caste, creed, sex, or where they come from. The second one, Articles 25 to 28. These pertain to freedom of practicing religion, not just for individuals, but for religious groups as well, and the Constitution provides for it. The next one being Article 37. Directive principles, as Article 37 makes clear, are not enforceable by a court of law, but are fundamental in governance of the country, and it is the duty of the state to apply. And finally, Article 44. It says the state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. But that has not happened. Why is it that we need a uniform civil code? When it comes to criminal matters, we don't have a problem with uniformity, but when it comes to personal laws, we do. It is because it suits a certain section of society, and that's why we do not want change. Here are some examples. The RTE Act of 2009 is a brilliant law, but unfortunately, it keeps the minority institutions out. Why so? Aren't there poor members of the minority community who need the 25% reservation as far as education is concerned? So why leave out the minorities? That is one. Secondly, why are only temples under the government? Why not minority institutions or minority religious places as well? Isn't this discriminatory? Doesn't this go against the Constitution? We are one people. We are all Indians. So why not have one overarching law that governs us all? When Goa can have it, and it has thrived and it has worked well in Goa, why not the rest of the country? You may ask now, why is it that only in Goa it is followed, and why is it that only Goa has a Goa civil code and not the rest of the country? Because when the personal laws were brought in by the Britishers, Goa was not under their control, but under the control of the Portuguese. And finally, in 1961, when Goa was made an integral part of India, the Goan people themselves said that they want to continue with the Goa Civil Code and they do not want to apply the other laws that are present across the country. So this shows that it has worked there, and there are members of all communities present in Goa and they are all living happily with the Goa Civil Code. So we already have an example to show us that it has worked and it can continue to work. I come back to education. Why is it that people want to get into missionary schools? Why is there so much of a tussle, so much of a fight, so much of competition to get into one of the missionary institutions? I, for one, can say I don't come from a well-off background. I come from a very, very lower middle class background, and I have received the best education because I am a Christian and I could get into those institutions, and that's why I am where I am today. So why should it be limited only to me? Why not the rest of the country as well? Fine. Let's look at it this way. If we free the temples and if we free the temple administration and take them away from the government control, let's also remember this too is a colonial hangover and a legacy that has been left behind by the Britishers. It is not something that we have done as Indians. That's why the law needs to change. If temples are free and if temples can come out with their own schools and their own institutions which are made world class, then this fight to get into the missionary institutions will not be there. You can pick and choose where you want to go and where you want to be. That is why it is important for us to have a uniform civil code, just as we have uniformity as far as criminal laws are concerned. But the real question is, will we have a uniform civil code? In all probability, it doesn't look like it will happen anytime soon because we just don't have the political spine and the political will to go through with it. Ultimately, it looks like the courts will only have to come to our mercy and ensure that it brings about some kind of uniformity as far as laws across the country are concerned. The courts so far have said that they do not want to involve themselves in this because it is outside their ambit. But if things continue to go this way, like we've seen in the recent past, where judges have come out openly and spoken about the UCC, it looks like the courts are our only hope. That's it on this edition of FRP Explains. Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you like this content. You may also make a contribution using our UPI IDs. A small contribution that you make will go a long way in us bringing you this content. That's it from me. See you again next time.